UPSC Civil Services exam is considered to be the world's toughest exam, right? But that is not the case. But the journey becomes difficult. So if you're attempting this exam in May, then the mains would be after a few months, then there would be interview, then God forbid, if you believe in God, you don't get to clear in your first attempt, then you'll have to start again. And then that journey becomes sometimes toxic. So sometimes you will bang your head. What am I getting myself into? I was happy in a job, I was happy in a college, I was happy at the RV college, but this is not something that I want to do. So you give up.
Sir, I am following you since 2018. Sir, I have watched all your classes, sir.
Why are you not able to clear this exam then?
I was preparing for the civil services. I got burnt out. I studied for 4 hours. Now I feel sleepy.
And every day some of the other problems I get. Today I'm not well. Today I've come here, food issue happens, this thing. In couple of days, I do have some problem.
Those factors will go out of the window. The moment you realize this is a study about your own life.
And first 2 months it was like at the peak my preparation. From there it is going slow down, bit slow. And also I lost my own people. And that also everything is my own mother.
So this is where motivation plays a very important role. What motivates me to prepare for this exam? Why is it important for me to crack this exam?
Personalize this study. You will be able to conquer the prelims, the mains, and develop the personality for your interview. You will be able to hold your own opinion for that.
In our Jammu and Kashmir also, sir, there are few guys who have qualified this examination. And when I see all those guys, they have some impressive background.
I started my preparation in 2018. First time when I saw you, and I fell in love with your politics subject. So since then, I began my preparation, sir. But I don't know why I was not able to understand myself. Why I'm not able to clear the examination. I gave four attempts as a.
Can I live my life without clearing this exam? Or will this always be at the back of my mind that no, I should have attempted this exam before. I could have done this. I could have made an impact. This is where motivation plays a very important role. And ask yourselves this question first. Why is it that this exam becomes so important part of my life? Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Why? I asked why. How many amongst you are attempting prelims 2025? 26? 27? Never? So you are attempting this exam once. Why? Obviously, but why? What is the motivation? Why? Very good. Others? And I'll tell you why am I asking this question. Why Veroptis?
So to make actual impact necessary to be at least like cabinet secretary. So
You are from RV College? Very good.
Sorry to interrupt you, for I have an important announcement to make. To all the civil services aspirants who are planning to appear in 26 or 27, this is the ideal time to embark on a focused preparation. To ensure that your IAS dream isn't interrupted by mind-boggling fee charged by coaching institutes, we at Unacademy are offering our UPSC preparation subscription at a 55% discount. Now at 23,999, you can subscribe to our course for 12 months and give wings to your IAS preparation. Our Ignite batch for CSE 2026 starts with my Indian Polity course on the 27th of January. This is our most comprehensive program for both prelims and mains preparation, covering GS and CSAT both. For more details, visit our website and use IAS English code to unlock this discount. All the best and let's crack it.
UPSC Civil Services exam is considered to be the world's toughest exam, right? But that is not the case. It is a myth. It's false. It's an easy exam. There is a well-defined syllabus. All you need to do, comprehensively cover the syllabus, take as many tests as possible, revise, problem solved. But the journey becomes difficult. So if you're attempting this exam in May, then the mains would be after a few months. Then there would be interview. Then God forbid, if you believe in God, you don't get to clear in your first attempt, then you'll have to start again. And then that journey becomes sometimes toxic. So sometimes you will bang your head. What am I getting myself into? I was happy in a job. I was happy in a college. I was happy at the RV college. But this is not something that I want to do. So you give up. So this is where motivation plays a very important role. What motivates me to prepare for this exam? Why is it important for me to crack this exam? Can I live my life without clearing this exam? Or will this always be at the back of my mind that no, I should have attempted this exam before. I could have done this. I could have made an impact. This is where motivation plays a very important role. And ask yourselves this question first. Why is it that this exam becomes so important part of my life? And if you have that clear answer, then this is a very, very easy exam. But first, you should have that clarity. Why am I writing this exam? Because you will have to sacrifice a lot. You will have to struggle a lot. You will have to study a lot. And that will keep on reminding you, no, suffer now, but live the rest of the life like a champion. And that's what Muhammad Ali said. I hated every minute of my training, but I told myself, suffer now and live the rest of your life like a champion. And he did it. So first is motivation. Second is dedication. Create a well-defined syllabus, stick to it. Create a timetable, stick to it. How many amongst you are Unacademy students? How many amongst you are not Unacademy students? I could get the answer. So this is where clarity is important. Clarity in the sense, if you know that there is a statement asked in the examination, sometimes when we read, maybe direct question will not be asked. But whatever you have read, you can make that as the basis to answer that question that comes in the exam. So when I asked how many amongst you are Unacademy students, most of you raised your hands, which means the others who did not, they were not Unacademy students. So I don't have to tell you now, these are the guys who are not our students.
Hello, Civil Services aspirants. I'm Sarmad Mehraj. I'm coming to Hyderabad with Mukesh Jasar and Hima Bindu ma'am on the 25th of January. We are hosting our biggest offline workshop in your city. Our aim is simple. The moment you leave the venue, you should be absolutely clear as to what it takes to crack the IAS in your first attempt. Please make note of the venue and timings on your screen. Since the seats are limited, please fill the form provided in the comment section and book your slot. See you on the 25th of January and together, let's crack it.
You have to make it up yourself, which means read a chapter. Maybe question from that directly would not be asked in the exam, but based on your understanding, based on your reasoning, you can answer that question. Good. But why are you here today? Why are you here? Guidance. You, ma'am? Which knowledge? Okay. What is the knowledge that you have? What do you know about this exam? How many amongst you are aware of the syllabus of this exam? Okay. How many amongst you have gone through the previous year's question papers? Okay. Very good. Now, can I test you? Sure? Very good. Why is understanding the syllabus and looking at understanding PYQs important? Because the syllabus would tell you what to study. You may also be preparing for state public service commission exam or some other government exams. And more or less, you have to study the same stuff. Polity, economics, geography. Geography teacher here, he would tell you better how to study geography, the subject that I hate the most. Right? But for UPSC, same topics, same subjects, but approach has to be different. And that we will understand by looking at previous year's question papers. Because maybe who was the first Prime Minister of India will not be asked in the UPSC exam. But what was asked is, when the 9th schedule was added to the constitution, at that time, who was the Prime Minister? This question was asked in the exam. So your approach for government exams, one-day exams, state-level exams have to be different. But your approach for UPSC is completely different. And for that, you need to understand the syllabus. You need to understand previous year's question papers. Because does UPSC recommend that you should read NCRTs? Does UPSC recommend you should read Lakshmikant? Does UPSC recommend that you should be taught by Sarmad Mehraj? Yes. Apart from that, no. There are only two official documents released by UPSC. One is the syllabus and the other previous year's question papers. And aspirants often neglect them. And you go and chase a teacher, chase a bookshop owner, buy all the books and magazines that are available, and you then assume that this is how I'm going to prepare for this exam. Without understanding syllabus and TYQs, please don't do that. First, you have to be motivated. Second, go through the syllabus and previous year's question papers. That's very important. But now I'll come back to that question. Why are you here? Due to work. Is your work environment toxic? No. Work is quite good. I mean, you're still not perfect. Just that you're unable to manage the time? Yeah. Which is a lie again. Oh, yeah, that's my role. Yes. So if somebody is telling me I don't have time to prepare for this exam, it's a lie. It's a myth. We all have time. It's about how do you manage that time? How do you create a schedule? You are free over the weekends? You are, otherwise you would not be here. So you should have studied. Okay. I'll tell you why I am here, because I don't know why you are here. Maybe your parents forced you to come here, or Unacademy guys forced you that you should be here today. Our perspective is that the moment you leave this on, you should be absolutely clear about what this exam is all about and what it takes to qualify and crack this exam in your first attempt. Because how many attempts do you have? Don't ever assume that you have 6 attempts. If you start assuming you have 6 attempts, failure becomes acceptable. I could not clear in the first attempt, I have another attempt. I'm not preparing for the next attempt, I have another attempt. Right? Failure becomes acceptable. You have to keep in mind that you have got only one attempt and crack this exam in your first attempt. Is that possible? Yes. How can you say that? Because large number of candidates qualify in the first attempt. So if they can do that, why can't you? So is it impossible to crack the exam in the first attempt? No. How do we make it possible? That's an important question. Otherwise, it is not impossible to crack the exam in the first attempt. So it is possible, please do that. Because in your first attempt, your motivation will be at the optimum level. You will have fire inside you that I want to comprehensively cover the syllabus. Because God forbid, if you don't qualify in the first attempt, you will start doubting that my next attempt also will be the same. There is something amiss. Maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe this is a difficult exam. Maybe I'm not worth it. Maybe I won't clear this exam again. So that self-doubt creeps in if you don't qualify in the first attempt. And I can tell you, after guiding so many students, it is difficult to qualify in the second, third attempt. But it is relatively easier to qualify in the first attempt. And since this is going to be your first attempt, whether 25 or 26, make the best use of it. Please. It's not a difficult exam. Cover the syllabus. Take as many mocks as possible. Focus on answer writing. Why? Why is answer writing important? Right. Wait. Prelims is MCQ based, and prelims is a rejection test. So all these 10 lakh aspirants who fill the form, but 4.5 lakh people write the exam. Out of them, 17,000, 13,000, 20,000, whatever the number of vacancies are, those number of students are going to qualify for the mains exam. So the majority of these students are to be rejected. But if you qualify prelims, whether you score 90 or 190 doesn't matter, because these marks will not be counted. What will be counted? The marks that you obtain in mains plus the personality test. And mains is all about answer writing. 1750 marks are allocated for mains exam. So whether you are going to crack this exam or not will be entirely based on the marks that you score in mains. The marks that you obtain in personality test maximum can determine what is going to be your ranking. Whether you will be amongst the top 100 or towards the end. But whether you will be in the list or not will be only based on the marks that you obtain in mains. And mains is all about answer writing. How many amongst you have been preparing for this exam for more than a year? Okay. Which is your favorite subject? Yes. Sit. Polity. Very good. Pressure. You don't have to be diplomatic here. You can be diplomatic once you become a diplomat. Okay. Now I will ask you. There is a chapter called State Machinery. Right? And in that there is the Office of Governor. If I were to ask you today, Office of Governor should be abolished, will you be able to write an answer? You will be able to write, but not confident. Right? Somebody who has not prepared for polity. Anyone here? Can you write an answer to this question that I have asked? But you are not prepared. How would you write? Very good. So if you are starting now and I'm going to ask you write an answer to this question, maybe you will not be in a position to answer. Or maybe you will answer, but that won't be up to the mark. But once you prepare for this exam, once you comprehensively cover polity, you can write 500 words as well, 700 words as well on this Office of Governor. But UPSC is asking you, answer should not be more than 250 words. Or answer should not be more than 150 words. Which means whatever knowledge you have to restrict it to under 250 words, under the word limit. That is an art that you'll have to learn. Now you will have to think what to include in that answer, what to exclude. Maybe should I write a constitutional provision? Should I write a judgment of the court? Should I write a quote of somebody? So you will be very economical with your words, because otherwise you will cross the word limit, you will end up losing the marks. That is how you learn answer writing. So you will be able to answer all these questions. But the difference between somebody who qualifies for this exam and somebody who does not depends upon how you structure this answer. What should be the introduction? What should be the body? What should be the conclusion? Should I write the answer in point format or in paragraph? So that I'm able to make an impact on the examiner who is going to evaluate these answers. That is something to be learned. So answer writing is very important. But now the question is, when do I start writing answers? Before my preparation? Not possible, because even if you prepare, it's not going to be of any worth. When I complete 10% of the syllabus? No. Because if you complete 10% of the syllabus, then how can you write it? At least once you cover 30%, 35% of the syllabus, start writing answers. And start writing answers regularly once you have completed the syllabus of that subject. Because that is how you are going to be ready for the mains exam. And this exam is all about mains. And this exam is all about answer writing. For that, please ensure that your current affairs is taken care of. George Orwell has written a book called Animal Farm. In that, initially he would say all animals are equal. But later on, he changed it and said all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. In this exam, all papers are equal or of equal weightage. GS1, 2, 3, 4, essay, optional has 2 papers, 500 marks, but all equal. But some papers are more equal than others. If you're stronger in these subjects, you will not only crack this exam, you will get a better rank as well. Which are these subjects? GS paper 4, essay, and your optional subject. And for all of that, current affairs will play a very important role. And Mukesh sir will help you understand what should be the strategy for current affairs and what should be the strategy for the optional subject. How many amongst you have prepared an optional? What's your optional math? Economics. Yours? Why? Because toppers take it. It's scoring as well. Very good. So why are you ashamed of it? Even if the syllabus is short, yes, say it openly. That because the syllabus is short, I think I will be able to score well. Because you're not here to do community service. You are here to score maximum marks so that you are in the list. So if toppers are taking anthropology, the syllabus is short, guidance is also available, it's scoring as well, what's the harm? That is why Mukesh sir will tell you how to select an optional, what should be the optional strategy, how to prepare for current affairs as well. But apart from that, do you have any specific doubts with respect to your preparation? Anyone, any specific doubt? Because I tell you why I'm asking this question. We will wrap up this session in the next 40 minutes. And thereafter, the objective is that you and us, we will sit together and personally resolve your queries. Maybe in presence of others, you're hesitant in asking your doubts. So whatever your doubts are, you can get in touch with us after the session is over, and we will be more than happy to help you get your doubts clarified. But apart from that, are there any general doubts that you have so that I can address them? Then Mukesh sir will tell you the strategy for current affairs and optional. Then one by one, we can meet. Yes, please.
For preliminary, what are the safe marks for each paper if you take this much with the safe mark?
You can't predict that because it keeps on changing. There was a time when even the CSAT marks would be included. The cutoff would be 241. Then the cutoff, once CSAT got excluded, used to be 97, sometimes 100. And now it is 85, sometimes 88. So it depends upon how many vacancies do you have. Higher the number of vacancies, which means the cutoff will be lower. It depends upon the difficulty level of the question paper. If the question paper is difficult, the cutoff will be lower. If it is relatively easier, the cutoff will go high. So can you be pointing out to a specific number that this, if I achieve, I'm safe? No. But yes, if you can, in prelims, target 110 plus, you're safe 110%, you will write the mains exam. And that is what your intention should also be. Because once you appear in the prelims exam, then you check the answer key and then you waste a lot of your time because you are in a dilemma whether I will crack or not, to be or not to be. So you will end up wasting your time and you will not prepare for mains. To ensure that you don't waste that time, you should be confident that yes, I'm going to appear in the mains exam because I am qualifying. And how do you know that you are qualifying? If you can cross that magic number of 110. That can be the safe target that you can achieve. Right? Anyone else? Yes.
Sir, my question is, sir, while preparing UPSC, so we study all the materials, we go coaching center, we take mentors. So apart from that, with respect to development of personalities, so for instance, if we study any connotation topic, like for example, Pieces of Worship Act, so we study the basic static current affairs, but we tend to fail how to develop our own opinion, because if the question is asking on this topic, for with respect to like any other religious matter, so I'm confused how to develop our stand. For example, if these kind of questions.
Have you ever heard that there was a question asked, what is your opinion on this matter? Nobody is going to ask your opinion. Even if the question is asking, how far do you agree with this statement? You don't have to say, I agree. You have to quote somebody. So Pratap Banu Mehta, according to him, this is the position. According to Harish Salve, this is the position. Because, let's be fair, you have not done any research.
Yes.
You have not gone into the heartland of India to understand what the people are thinking. So you have to quote somebody. So when the question is saying, how far do you agree? It's not your opinion. You have to quote somebody. That's how you develop. And as much as possible, keep Constitution as a sacred document. And your answer has to revolve around the Constitution. That's why I tell my students, if you don't record this, outside, if you want a Hindu Rashtra or an Islamic state, do that outside of the examination hall. Inside, you are a secular person, you follow the Constitution. That's it. If you read Marx, Karl Marx, his entire philosophy is based on economy. Economy changes, everything will change. Similarly, for a civil service aspirant, your foundation has to be the Constitution, and your answer has to revolve around it. So whether it is the constitutional morality, whether it is social justice, maybe you will be asked in your personality test, what is your take on reservation?
Yes.
Can you say reservation is cheating?
No.
Right? So it is part of social justice, yet some tweaks are important. Maybe creamy layer should be made applicable for SCs and STs. Maybe once you should take the benefit of reservation, after that, you should not take benefit even in promotion or later, or your entire family should not be taking the benefit of reservation. These are the reforms that you can suggest, but you can't say I'm anti-reservation. Why? Because that is inherently part of social justice. So read opinion pages of newspapers. Read the editorials of Indian Express and the Hindu. Understand their viewpoint, their mindset, and that is the mindset that you will have to keep forward for the exams as well.
Okay.
But it is not your personal opinion. You're quoting somebody.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I am struggling in economics topics, sir. I'm not understanding the depth topics, sir. How to study the economic topics?
Economics.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you an Unacademy student?
No, sir.
Okay. How are you preparing?
Sir, daily I am following the daily news analysis of Unacademy, sir. I am following Conquer Films, sir. I am studying the standard books.
Which book?
Sir, Lakshmikant.
For economy, Lakshmikant has not written that.
I started with economy with NCRTs.
NCRT. Which NCRT?
Sir, Tamil Nadu.
Tamil Nadu. That is not NCRT. That's Tamil Nadu State Board.
No, sir. That's state board NCRT, sir.
Very good. Microeconomics or macroeconomics?
Micro, sir.
Micro is not important for the exam. That is why I am not demeaning you, but thank you for coming here. And I'm glad that I'm talking to you. Why? Because this exam majorly requires guidance. Otherwise, anybody can crack this exam. But somebody has to show you direction that this book you have to read. These are the chapters that you'll have to read. This is the source which you should not touch. Because today, my dear, what the problem is, we proliferate the sources. We inflate the sources. 10 books per subject. 5 books per subject. 3 current affairs magazines. 10 newspapers. Where is the time for revision? Where is the time for conceptual understanding? That is why you have to keep your sources minimum. 1 book per subject, that's more than enough. But how? If you are somebody who has absolutely no idea about this exam, you have never studied these subjects, you should start with basic books. And these basic books are what? NCRTs. But before you start, I told you, go through the syllabus and previous year's question papers. Because if you're struggling to understand economy, for that first you need to understand what is the syllabus of economy. Do I have to cover monetary policy, fiscal policy, inflation, whatnot, capital markets? But then also look at what sort of questions have been asked both in prelims as well as mains examination. And this way you will realize that microeconomics does not play a major role in this exam. It is the macroeconomics which plays a very important role. For that, pick any standard book. whether it is Ramesh Singh or Nitin Singhania, any book, but stick to it. Read it, revise it. You are following daily newspaper analysis, but that is strictly for current affairs. You will not understand current affairs unless and until your basics are clear. So you should be aware of what is GDP, what is GNP, how it is calculated, what is included, what is not included, what is inflation. What is inflation? Very good, very good. You're right. Tell me. Rise up? Yes. And how does it happen? Suddenly the price increases, price falls. How does it happen? What is the price of 1 kg of tomato right now?
Almost.
If it is 20 rupees, tomorrow it goes up to 50. That means the price has increased. This is inflation. But what causes inflation? Maybe the demand for tomato has increased. When the demand for tomato has increased, that means the price will go up. Or monsoon has failed. Now the crop, tomato crop, gone. That means supply is less. When the supply is less, demand will be more. Price will go up. Assume that we have the capacity of 100 students here. Now we want to launch a civil services batch. People outside, 500 are waiting, but the seats are only 100. I am saying I will announce this batch at 1 lakh rupees. 400 others, they cannot enter because the capacity is only 100. They will say, I will give you 1.25, give this seat to me. That's inflation. No, I will give you 1.5, give this seat to me. But if there are only 10 students outside, price is 1 lakh, I'll say, I'll give you for 10,000. Please come. Please come for free, this free workshop. Because nobody is waiting outside. Right? Although it doesn't happen with coaching institutes, it happens when we say inflation, rise in the price of the essential commodities, which basically means there is a fall in the value of rupee. Understand this, then you can understand current affairs. What are the steps being taken by the government to control inflation? Whether inflation is because of food items or some other items, that you will have to understand. So get these basics clear. Basics, pick Ramesh Singh or Nitin Singhania and follow. There are lots of free sources available online as well. Understand these terms from YouTube videos. Once your basics are clear, then you can go and understand the current affairs as well.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure. Yes, please.
Okay. So what's the rationality behind shifting the strategy from March towards prelim while our main target is to clear the exam and the rank and all will be decided by the mains? So aren't our focus should be like if we are above 110 in the prelims mocks exam, so we are good to go and we should have side-by-side preparation, just giving like say mock exams every day and focusing towards our mains exam even in March and April, May. So
Ultimate objective is to your child, you have to ensure that this child becomes a IAS officer. Why don't we produce the child directly as an IAS officer? Why 9 months in the womb of the mother? Directly take the child out and send him to a school. It has to be a step-by-step process, right? You can't enter mains unless and until you clear prelims. And to clear prelims, you have to cross that cutoff. Now, you're right. If you are somebody who has cleared prelims in the past, you don't need to spend time from March onwards. Maybe you can only spend time from April to May. Just revise current affairs. Just take as many mocks as possible because you are a veteran. You have cracked prelims multiple times. You don't have to worry about this. But what if this is your first attempt? Although you are scoring good in mocks, but the reality can be completely different when it comes to the UPSC real exam. That is why if this is your first attempt, March, April, May should be exclusively devoted to prelims exam. And that is why even before the prelims, your entire syllabus should be over. So that once the prelims exam is over, all you can focus on is answer writing. You can focus on optional subject. You can focus on taking as many mocks as possible, revise current affairs, so that your answer writing takes a big leap when you're writing the mains exam. So you have to conquer this exam step by step. And the first hurdle is the prelims. So you have to have a separate preparation strategy for prelims, separate strategy for mains examination, and a separate strategy for personality test. Treat it like a cricket. In cricket, there are mostly three formats: T20, One Day International, Test cricket. And do you think the strategy works? Same strategy for all the three types of the cricket matches? No. Prelims, mains, personality test. Different strategy, different approach. Mukesh sir, please come. And Mukesh sir will discuss current affairs strategy and optional strategy. And then we will meet one-on-one.
Sorry to interrupt you, for I have an important announcement to make. To all the civil services aspirants who are planning to appear in 26 or 27, this is the ideal time to embark on a focused preparation. To ensure that your IAS dream isn't interrupted by mind-boggling fee charged by coaching institutes, we at Unacademy are offering our UPSC preparation subscription at a 55% discount. Now at 23,999, you can subscribe to our course for 12 months and give wings to your IAS preparation. Our Ignite batch for CSE 2026 starts with my Indian Polity course on the 27th of January. This is our most comprehensive program for both prelims and mains preparation, covering GS and CSAT both. For more details, visit our website and use IAS English code to unlock this discount. All the best, and let's crack it.
Thank you, sir, first of all. And welcome, everyone. Now, there were multiple questions which have already been asked, but still I would want to ask one basic question again, a repetition of it. How many of us have actually taken a look at the PYQs? Okay, good. And how many of us have an absolute fresh mind that no clue what UPSC is about? So everybody has got an idea. Good. So why I'm asking you this is because many of the times while we approach the preparation of civil services, our mind is already so biased that this is what is required for civil services. This is what we have to study for civil services. For example, I take my subject, geography. I need to rectify all the rivers and tributaries. How many of you feel that is important for geography in the optional, in the exam for the prelims? Don't be afraid, please. Yeah. How many questions are asked from this in the prelims exam? 8 to 10. 1 or 2. That means you are looking at some other PYQ where 8 to 10 such questions are coming. 1 or 2 on an average. And how much time you are investing in learning this? 1 week, 15 days, revision of it separate. So even after that, there's a probability of you getting that portion incorrect. Why I'm telling you this? Because you have to be very mindful of what you are spending in this preparation. What is your most major investment in this preparation? Time. Value your time. Your ROI has to be maximum. If I am spending a week studying something, am I able to extract something out of it or not? And only if I have, for example, I have spent, let's suppose, 20 days to learn a kind of a dance form, different types of dance form. Every 2 years, one question will be asked on that. Not even every year. Now, what is the purpose of it? In those 15 days, if I would have revised, let's suppose, polity, I could have a better probability of clearing the exam. So, we have to understand how we are investing time. That is very, very important. If you want to clear the exam in the first attempt, you have to be very mindful of time. Now, out of prelims, mains, and interview, which is the portion which scares you the most? Prelims, how many? Please raise your hand. Mains, how many? So we are confident about prelims. Nice. An interview? Anyone scared of interview? 1 or 2. Okay. See, you need to break this down. You need to break down the entire preparation. How do you prepare for prelims? Have you analyzed the question? I'm sure we have taken a look at the PYQs. 8 to 10 questions you said come from a particular topic. But in general, if you analyze the PYQs, form a strategy for prelims. Very important. Don't just study a subject in a sweeping manner that, okay, I have to cover it, I will clear the exam. How do you attempt the questions in the prelims? You were asking about the safe range in prelims. How will you secure 110 marks? If I tell you that 105 is the safe range or 110 is the safe range, how do you plan to secure 110? And why not 120? For example, if let's suppose I have 100 questions, am I going to be able to attempt all those 100 questions? No. If I study for 7 years, will I be able to attempt all those 100 questions? No. 100 years? No. So then why to burden ourselves with this? Out of these 100 questions, 30 questions will be factual. Factual. Based on current affairs, based on some trivia fact. You would all have heard about these kind of questions, that which is this animal, by the fluttering of its wings, gives the indication to the other species where the food is. This was a question in the prelims. What is the gestation period for the elephants? And for 2 years, I had students who were rectifying what is the gestation period for leopards, what is the gestation period for apes, what is the gestation period for everything and anything. Did UPSC repeat that? No. Because they were chasing this. Stop chasing this. Stop chasing facts in your life. Prelims will be easy. Always. Just studying and coverage of concepts, you will be able to secure at least 50 to 55 questions correct. There goes your 110 marks. So that is how you strategize. And when we talk about the mains exam, but before that, current affairs. After all, current affairs is a vital part of prelims. How many of us have a problem with retention of what we are studying in current affairs? We are studying it on a daily basis, but we are not able to retain it. Quite a lot of you. Quite natural. Every student goes through that. This is where we have to understand the approach that we take for current affairs. How do we study current affairs? After all, what are these current affairs? Whatever you study as the concept, its application is the current affairs. That's it. The concept is what you study in the static subjects. Unless and until this portion is clear, this will just be skimming off the surface. You will forget immediately. For example, recently there is a wildfire in LA, in US. I'm sure all of us are following that, or at least would have heard about that there is a wildfire, a lot of destruction is happening. What about the wildfires in India? Which are the regions in India which experience wildfire? Western Ghats? Other than Western Ghats? Uttarakhand and Western Ghats don't experience forest fires to that extent. It is slightly in the Eastern Ghats and then Uttarakhand. So if let's suppose there is a topic of wildfire in LA, our expectation as a candidate is what? That UPSC is going to ask me, where was there a wildfire? LA, Bihar, UP, Odisha, I will mark LA. If there is a Russia-Ukraine war, everybody will study, where is Ukraine? What did UPSC ask? Which are the countries surrounding Ukraine? Why? Why do you think UPSC asked that? Because when the war broke out, the surrounding regions were important for the evacuation. That is where countries like India took the help of countries like Moldova and the surrounding regions. So that is why UPSC is asking you that. UPSC asked you the boundary region of Afghanistan. Why didn't it ask you boundary region of Iran? So that is where the application comes. Understand that this current affairs that you are studying, it is not some random Schrodinger's equation that UPSC wants you to learn. It is so that you understand the country and the world that you live in a better way. That's it. The more you complicate it, that, okay, I have to remember the MCLR as well, the bank rate reduced, the more you complicate it, you will forget it. I'm sure you would have read stories in your childhood days, the storybooks in your childhood days. And I'm sure many of you would be able to retain those stories as well, right? All of you would be able to learn some of the stories, recall some of the stories. But here, if I ask you to tell me about thermohaline circulation, which you would have studied, most of you will either go blank or turn your head that side. Why is it so that we retain the stories, but we don't retain these concepts and the current affairs? Many of us have a tendency to underline each and every sentence. That from here a question can be asked. From here a question can be asked. And in that we lose the larger picture. What this article wants to convey. Look at the more comprehensive picture. How it is impacting the life around me. How is it that the geographical realities of the country have impacted the economic impoverishment that we have in various parts? How economic impoverishment is leading to political turmoil in certain parts? How that is leading to environmental degradation in certain regions? The day you are able to interrelate the concepts, interrelate the topics, understand you are a candidate now worthy of selection. Till the day you are studying the subjects in isolation, UPSC is still very far-fetched goal for you. You have to study for that. One of the questions that I always ask in the class also, why do you think the Britishers came to colonize India? What do you think was the reason? You see, when Vasco da Gama came, and when he carried the spices back from India, you said about spices, after counting the entire budget of his trip, he still made 20-fold profit. Spices were in demand. India was a land of spices. Why did they need spices? Preservation of food. Why preservation of food? Because the climate in their country did not allow cultivation for 6 months. So the entire Europe, and slowly and steadily that percolated to Americas much later, they were dependent on spices, particularly pepper. That is when they came into India looking for trade initially for the spices. Now think about it. All the colonial deprivations that we are facing is because they wanted spices. Why did they want spices? Because of the geographical reality. So geography in a way has shaped history. History has shaped our economic and socio-ecological realities that we live in, the divides that we have. That is the larger picture. Rather than simply taking a look at when the first factory was set up, when the factory at Surat was set up. No. Larger picture. Current affairs, when you're reading the newspaper, never commit the error of immediately looking at which data pointers I can rectify. What that will do is, your newspaper reading will take 2-3 hours. In certain cases, the pile starts to build up. It becomes taller than you. That one fine day when the stars will align, everything will be perfect for me. I will pick up those newspapers and I will finish it in one fine day. That day never comes. So newspaper, you have to read. But then, just to gain a long-term perspective. Then how do we approach the other portion of current affairs? monthly magazines. Now you have so many monthly magazines out there in the market. Look at the monthly magazines. Use that for revision immediately every month. And follow one strategy. 7, 20, 30. What is this? This is your revision timetable. Any topic of current affairs that you have studied ever, immediately within 7 days, the revision has to happen. If it does not happen within 7 days, the next time when you will open it, it is as good as new. The second revision has to happen within 20 days. And the third revision cycle has to be done in 30 days. If you do this, current affairs will be retained for an year or more. But if you don't revise and you have the expectation that we will be able to retain it, the world is not so ideal, sadly. So this is how you start with the current affairs. Read the newspaper, attack the monthly magazine. Your aim should be, before I enter the prelims hall, I should have revised each monthly magazine at least 5 times. Minimum of 5 times. And then the rest of it, by the test series, etc., you will keep on gaining. Right? Now, I was also listening to the doubts regarding answer writing, etc. Many of the questions are asked in the mains examination associated with current affairs. And there we don't know how to write answers. It is a known fact that writing is a skill which is rewarded by UPSC. But writing is a skill. It is not something which is granted by birth. It is not the case that from childhood days this person was a very avid or a good writer. Never. It is gained. So if we have hesitation in answer writing, I'm not able to write good answer, what do we do? What do you practice? How do you practice? Not always. I'll tell you what you should do. In the case of, let's suppose you have read a portion of current affairs, any topic, write it what you have understood in your own words. Start with writing 75 words. That this editorial piece, what I have understood, I will write it in 75 or 100 words. This particular article, okay, this was a follow-up of the previous article. In the previous article, they talked about the socio-economic condition. This time, they are talking about the other condition. So can I merge both the points? You learn on a daily basis. Start writing that. Once that mind to muscle memory starts to work, that is important. That what your mind is thinking, is your hand able to produce that immediately or not? The moment it starts to work, then means becomes a cakewalk. Then answer any kind of question which is thrown at you. You will not jump out of confusion that what to do. You will write something. That is when, in the static also, please incorporate topic-based notes. Prepare your own topic-based notes. Any topic that you have studied. For example, plate tectonics. Write 150 words about plate tectonics. What have you understood? Like suppose you have studied about global conveyor belt cycle. Write it in 150 words what you have understood. Then if a question is framed, regardless of the demand of the question, you will be able to answer that very ably. So rather than directly, those of us who have never written answers before, rather than directly attacking the questions, try this strategy. Try writing something in your own words. That will be beneficial. And then comes the optional. Now, when we talk about the optional paper, it is scary for many of the students because you have substantial amount of marks involved. And nowadays, with the competition that you have, if you are scoring anywhere in the range of 250 or 260 in the optional, you are virtually out of the race. Right? So, how do you select an optional? I am coming to that. How do you select an optional? Which optional do you choose? Looking at the topper's marks? The topper chose maths and got 356. The closest association that I have with maths is unitary method. Will I be able to score well in maths? Sir, if the topper can do, I can also do. The topper studied maths throughout his life. So, that marks can be one of the prerogatives. It will never be your only prerogative. First and foremost thing is what you have to look into is interest. Are you actually interested in the subject? Most of us are not even aware what the subjects are for the optional. We know that, okay, my group of friends, 3 of them were enrolled in sociology batch. I did not know where to go. And it was good fun going along with them, so I chose sociology. Are you interested in that? How do you get to know whether you are interested in that or not? Take a look at the notification first. Notification consists of detailed syllabus for the optional, a very detailed syllabus. Not only the major headings, the subheadings, the subtopics. Is it something which appears to be doable? Because optional is one of those areas which requires substantial amount of self-effort. Optional is one of those areas which can demotivate you if, God forbid, you have to give the second attempt. That, okay, I will clear the prelims, but even after clearing the prelims, I will never be able to score. That optional person has scored so much. Optional will create the largest amount of self-doubt from one attempt to another. Am I going in the right path or not? So be very careful while selecting the optional. It is not something that in a hunch I have taken anthropology or I have taken geography and this will work for me. No. Am I interested? Can I study this subject on my own? Am I interested enough to explore the various different study materials which are coming for this subject? Earlier, you see, in UPSC, there used to be an optional Pali. Now, when UPSC had the requirement of taking 2 optionals, everybody would generally take Pali as the other optional. Why? There used to be a 30-page notes. Everybody would mindlessly rectify it, not knowing what it is, and the question pattern would be similar, and they would vomit in the exam, secure a mindful marks in the exam. Fair enough. Other option I will score. UPSC eliminated that. UPSC is aware of the tricks and the trade that is going on in the market. So you have to be smart enough. You cannot follow the strategy which was followed in 2000 or 15 years back. UPSC is changing. You have to change. So when you are taking a look at the optional, the other thing that you have to take a look into it is whether the syllabus will take 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. In general, an optional will take you on an average 6 to 7 months of dedicated study. Sir, can I finish optional in 4 months? You can finish optional in 1 day. You will not get marks. If you actually want to succeed in the exam, you have to give that time. So for those 6 to 7 months, if I'm investing, the biggest asset that I have, that is my time. Am I interested? Is there guidance available? Because at some stage or the other, if I face a doubt, guidance does not mean a coaching. If I have my seniors, if let's suppose my family, anywhere who is able to guide me through that difficult period, are the materials available? Let's suppose tomorrow I become interested in Sanskrit. Materials are not available. Right? I have to do rectification of one PYQ to another PYQ. Is that sustainable? No. Tomorrow UPSC changes its pattern. The person who has supplied me the material, he will simply add on the new material that, look, it is there in my book. What will I do? My 1 year is wasted. Self-doubt comes. The burden of failure comes. I might opt out of the preparation next year. So, is the material available? Is that optional scoring? And also, that scoring part has to come out on the 4th list in terms of the priority order. Many of us have a tendency that I have an engineering background in mechanical or electrical, I will take electrical as an optional. Right? Just because you have graduated from a particular field does not mean that optional is good for you. You need your mind to be alert while you are studying. You have to understand why UPSC expects you to study that optional. And what is the expectation of UPSC that what you will deliver as an administrator once you get selected. Because your real life starts after that. It is not that the life ends once you clear. The real challenge begins after that. Paper 1 of any optional will cover the theories, the thinkers, all the various researches which have been done. Paper 2 will be about the application, more particularly in the Indian setting. That is where the paper 2 will converge with your GS. Right? Also take a look which optional can satiate the demand for your GS to the maximum so that your overall effort is reduced. Only after that, do select an optional. And once you select that optional, don't have the doubt that next year I will change. My friends have taken anthro, that topper has taken anthro, or that person has taken geography or history. No. Stick with it. And what should be your aim? Rather than marks per se, your aim in optionals should always be that I have got to prepare in such a way that my name figures in the top 20 in that optional across the country. Because if you are outside that top 20 of that optional, most probably you are not there in the merit list. Or you are in the very fag end of the merit list. Right? Because think about it. Take 6 such high frequency optionals, each of them generating 20 results. Already you are in the 150s and the 200s. Forget about IAS. Forget about IFS. Police service, revenue service. Right? So if I want a cadre of my choice, if I want a service of my choice, optional will get me there. I have to attack the optional. And I have to be preparing in such a way, top 10. How will that happen? Interest. In optional in particular, when you take a look at the syllabus, the subtopics that you have, prepare notes for each of the subtopics, each of the word which is written in the optional. Prepare a micro notes. Your preparation is done. That's all that you need to do for the optional. Nothing complicated. If there is a topic, under that 20 words are written. For each of the words, I have my own notes. That's it. No question will be asked beyond that.
Hello, civil services aspirants. I'm Sarmad Mehraj. I'm coming to Hyderabad with Mukesh Jasar and Hima Bindu ma'am on the 25th of January. We are hosting our biggest offline workshop in your city. Our aim is simple. The moment you leave the venue, you should be absolutely clear as to what it takes to crack the IAS in your first attempt. Please make note of the venue and timings on your screen. Since the seats are limited, please fill the form provided in the comment section and book your slot. See you on the 25th of January, and together, let's crack it.
If a question is asked beyond that, nobody is answering, I'm not losing out. UPSC sticks to the syllabus. We don't study or read the syllabus and we say UPSC asks anything under the bright blue sky. Never. Never does that happen. And particularly when you are preparing for the mains exam. As a future administrator, if you are thinking of yourself as a future administrator, always develop an approach. Any topic out there, try to gain as much amount of information for both sides of the argument. No topic is absolute in the sense, I'll give you the example. Let's suppose interlinking of rivers. Now, this is a question that UPSC has been asking for the past 2 decades. In the mains also, in the interview also. Oftentimes, they will try to corner you just to understand whether you are sure-footed in your opinion or not. Neither is interlinking of rivers always good, nor is it always bad. If you interlink the rivers, the twin problem of flood and drought will be solved. Drinking water supply will be there, irrigational land will be more. But if you interlink the rivers, it might lead to both the rivers having deficit water. You are spending so much amount of money, you could have spent that money elsewhere. So that is both sides of the argument. For any judgment, for any economic policy, for any kind of action out there, look at both sides of the argument. When you develop those arguments, your mains answer writing is also satiated by that. Okay? So, the approach, how to study and understand this. When you approach civil services, think about it, UPSC is asking you to know your region better. You know which is the best answer out in the mains exam, best kind of answer? All of them would have read the same book. The 10,000 odd people or 12,000 odd serious people who are giving, let's suppose, the mains exam, all of them would have covered the same book. They are the serious candidates. So what will make your answer different from them? Why will the evaluator give you more marks? Presentation is one of the important factors. Thought process. Very good. Could you elaborate? See, when you are able to substantiate the examples and authenticate it from your regional understanding, I'll give you an example. Urban India is facing a problem in terms of mobility, pollution, flooding. This topic in itself is repeated every year in GS paper 1. And every year I find candidates who try to ratify the points. The question pattern is slightly changed. Immediately everybody is puzzled that UPSC has changed the question. No, the crux is the same. You bring your arguments, what you have experienced in your surrounding. Whichever part of the country we are from, we have the same experience. Urban region is clogged. You don't have proper drainage, you don't have proper sanitation, you don't have proper infrastructure. There is going to be overpopulation. There is going to be pollution. You have experienced this. This is not something that a book will teach you. This is your own experience. The ability to bring your own experience into the paper, that is what will separate it from being purely academical approach, which makes UPSC studies sometimes boring, exhaustive in many of the cases, that I get burnt out, right? I was preparing for the civil services, I got burnt out, I studied for 4 hours, now I feel sleepy. Those factors will go out of the window. The moment you realize this is a study about your own life, personalize this study. You will be able to conquer the prelims, the mains, and develop the personality for your interview. You will be able to hold your own opinion for that. Okay? Anyone having any doubts?
Sir, so my question is, let's say if I'm, when I'm preparing for prelims, there are 8 to 10 subjects which are there. So I might not have covered, majority of it. In fact, in reality, I just studied geomorphology and Indian polity. Only these two things I've completed till now. So I would not be having any idea of economics or things which are like that. So when I'm preparing for CA, if I'm reading a particular article, how do I exactly understand that particular concept?
See, good question in that case. For example, there will be certain articles, if you have not covered the details of, let's suppose, Indian economy, and if there is an issue associated with the monetary policy committee has taken a decision not to lower the rates this time or lower the rates in order to control the money supply. Let's suppose there is this article. Wherever those factual portions come, try to take a look into it. But in the same article, you will find that there is a section, there's a paragraph which talks about the implications. It will lead to price rise, or it will lead control inflation. It will lead to stymied growth. That is what you have to capture. And you have to, in the meanwhile, the coverage of the big four subjects have to be done, first of all. At least what I refer to it in the sessions always, that how you cover a subject, it is in two stages primarily, then comes the revision. First stage is area reconnaissance, where you are making yourself aware of what the terminologies are. You would never have heard those terminologies before that, most probably. It would be absolutely new to you. Make yourself aware of those terminologies. You are reading it for the first time. Please don't expect your mind to retain it in the first time itself. The second phase will be area dominance. That is when I will develop my own ideas. After that, current affairs becomes productive. So first, the big four subjects have to be done. Right? After that, current affairs will automatically start flowing. Now, if the approach for prelims that you have to think about, you have to break these 100 questions. For example, from polity, I have 16 questions, right? I have to get at least 15 of them correct. Otherwise, I'm out of competition. Because those who will qualify for the mains exam, they will get that correct. Economy, 16 questions. I will try to get at least 14 of them correct. 2 of them may be very factual in nature. NSSO survey has indicated this, whether the percentage of women labor force employment is... Maybe those 2 factual questions I will ignore. Current affairs and static economy based questions are there. I will get 14 of them correct. History, 15 questions or 14 questions. Even if I get 9 of them correct, it is a bonus. Because you don't know the randomized sources from which they are asking. You cannot be covering all the topics out there. Like that, break down each and every subject. You will find that very easily you are able to reach that magic figure of 60 questions correct. Once you reach that 62 questions correct, you don't even have to spend an iota of your energy learning those facts, learning and rectification of, for example, when I teach environment ecology, the expectation of the candidates in the first class itself. Sir, we will read about the conventions later, climate change later. Could you please tell me the names of the national parks? Why? Because UPSC has asked one question in the prelims. Because when we analyze the PYQs, the conceptual questions, they don't stick in our mind. That, okay, there was some question about isotherm bending north-south. When I will study the subject of climatology, I will gain that. But that question of national park, where is this national park situated? Easy to retain in your mind. So I will study national parks. But you are spending more time there. So break it down. Break down individual subjects, what is achievable and what you are trying to achieve. Then prelims will be easy. Okay? Anyone else? Any question?
Yeah, since you had touched upon that point that we should always substantiate and that would help us make our answers different from the rest, right? So my question is related to, while I do prepare my notes and make it substantial according to what is happening in the current affairs, so my concern is as to I spend a lot of time in something which is, which comes repetitively and which keeps changing. So how do I actually spend enough and sufficient amount of time in a certain topic which is in current affair, and how do I make sure that I am not overdoing it, perhaps because there is a sea of information which comes around, and at times everything sounds or seems to be important and relevant. So how do I actually make sure that I'm doing it the right way?
3 letters. Have a PYQ analysis. Understand which type of questions are asked. Anything and everything in news. Is UPSC going to be interested in that? No. There are certain key areas that UPSC is going to be interested in. Something which is relevant today, something which is going to have an impact tomorrow, 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line as well. So those kind of issues, be it in IR, be it in the subject of governance, be it in the subject of geography, be it in the subject of environment. That is what is relevant for your mains exam. And once you are preparing your notes, you are saying that you are preparing your notes, you are giving the examples of it, and then let's suppose another new story comes in, it is developing further. Do you need to prepare your entire notes again? That is what is known as sanitization of notes. You sanitize your notes. For example, let me give you the example. This month, I have studied something in current affairs. Now, next month, I find out that that portion is not that important anymore. I will remove that in my revision list, from my revision list. Right? I find that there is a new addition in that current affairs. A4 sheet paper, very brief, a couple of pointers, I will add on to it. That's it. That incremental effort that you have to put should be minimal. That will happen only when your basic is clear. The basic concept of those subjects have to be clear in its own place for each of the subject. Then these addendums, they become an easy task. And whenever you are in doubt that whether what I am studying is going to be asked in the exam or not, look at the trend of the PYQs and don't start searching for PYQs since the time when Aurobindo Ghosh appeared in the civil service exam. Don't do that. The pattern has changed. The pattern of questions have changed. From first change happened in 2013-14. Second transition happened in 2017-18. So when you take a look at the PYQ, only restrict yourself to looking at the trend analysis of this. And then go ahead. Okay? That sanitization of notes is important.
So I try to prepare notes about current affairs. So almost I started reading current affairs in 2022. It was the ending of 2022. I found everything very crucial for the examination. So sir, ultimately I was a bit baffled whether I should make notes or not, because it became overwhelming over a period of time. So sir, when we should make notes, and how we can make notes out of PD 365. So whether we should follow that or not.
So see, I would give you a suggestion here that when it comes to note making from current affairs, nowadays you have so many resources available, compilations available. You don't need to copy those notes again. You don't need to prepare your own monthly magazine, right? Many of the times while preparing the notes, we are preparing our own monthly magazine. It becomes so bulky that I have 360 pages of notes of current affairs. I will never be able to revise that. Because when I think of starting the revision of that, I will procrastinate. I will think, okay, better I will study economy, better I will study history. So for revision, take a look at the monthly magazines. Now, the use of current affairs, something has to be extracted out of it for relevance in the mains exam. So there, I would ask you to prepare 2 A4 sheets and a small file of that. One of them, name it as factoids. Now, in factoids, what do you include? The doctor to population ratio, right? The judges to under trial ratio, right? The ideal prescribed limit for what should be the literacy rate in other countries, which is there. These kind of factual information. which if you know that you are able to reproduce in the mains exam, your mains answer will suddenly gain value of 1 or 2 marks. Those factoid, that should be a sheet. I'm not saying a note copy, a sheet. At max 2 pages. And I should be able to revise it every 15 days. Only then will it stick. Otherwise, it will not stick. Second, case studies. When you come across any new such, let's suppose there is a self-help group which has come up in Rajasthan, which is utilizing the product of agroforestry, and thereby it has led to an increased economic prosperity for the woman. So it is a kind of a socio-economic factor leading to women empowerment and at the same time increasing the green cover of the region. That case study, if I am able to make a digital copy of it, if I'm reading it online or on my mobile phone, fair enough. Otherwise, I will write it down very briefly. All for reproducing it. That's it. That should be the entire note making. Otherwise, the notes that you keep on making time and again, it will take a lot of time, lot of effort. And unless and until you, how frequently are you able to revise those notes?
Sir, it will automatically, maybe some opinion will be there and automatically revision. I don't prefer
So many of the times you prepare notes for the market. That this, you see this, that note is there in the market. It is so nice with all the glitter pens.
No, sir. Actually, Vision will have some magazines. So recently, sir, for example, secularism and socialist character of our, secularism and socialist character of our constitution. So, sir, it got repeated. So I can prefer that also, sir. Like, I found it relevant particularly.
No, so see, there will be topics which shall be repeated. There are topics which are repeated year, as you said that you are following the current affairs since 2022. There would be many topics which are repeated time and time again. Miyawaki method was in use in 2021. The question got asked in 2023. Or in fact, Miyawaki method was in use since 2018 onwards. The question got asked in 2023. So there will be topics which will be repeated. Does not mean that you have to make additional notes for that. What you have studied, if you are sure-footed in that I know the concept, that's it. Any new increment, I will add it on. Otherwise, no. You have to be very selective. As important as it is to know what to study for the civil services examination, more important is to know what to ignore. Always. Where not to spend your time. ROI. Keep that in mind. Okay? Right. Patience.
Hello. Sir, my question is regarding the allied subjects. Like we always focus on the big four, and then we have those subjects like IR, ethics, governance, social issues. So generally we have a strategy for our big fours, but for the allied subjects, the resources and again the, as you said, ROI. So that again gets diversified. So how do we channelize this situation?
So most of these allied subjects that you are talking about, they are a derivation of a main subject. For example, I will give you the case of environment ecology. Prior to 2013, there was no different subject of environment ecology which was asked. Class 12th NCERT, chapter 13 to 16, that would be included in biogeography. You are supposed to study that. A couple of questions would be asked. 2014, UPSC decided we will make it a separate subject itself. So now you're studying. But environment ecology, will you be able to understand without understanding the climatological factors of the region? It is a derivation of geography. Right? Same is the case with art and culture, derivation of history. You would have studied majority of it. So in these cases, always I would say, for example, there are different subjects for that matter. IR is purely driven by current affairs when it comes to the prelims exam. For the mains exam, you need a deeper conceptual understanding. For environment ecology, you have some basic concepts. Pollution. Right, this year also mains exam, there was a question. Climate change, climate tipping points. Then there are dynamic portions. Conventions, Kyoto Protocol, the Paris Agreement, the Kigali Amendment, the Conference of Parties to CBDs by UNFCCC. So once you get sure of these basics, 4 to 5 topics of the basics, Rest of the current affairs in environment will be able to carry you through. For art and culture, what I would suggest is to divide it in the ages, right? Age-wise. That is, when I'm studying, let's suppose ancient, not the entirety of ancient. During the time of the Mauryans, for example, the caves which were there in Odisha, right? For example, the ring well structure. I will treat it separately. The age of Mauryans. Like that, if you classify not only the architecture but also the art form, it becomes easier for you to revise. Reading for the first time is never a burden. You are introduced to it, you like it. It is the revision which is important. And that is where please do not chase the facts. Please do not pick up any new book just because in 2018 there were a couple of questions which were asked from this book. So I will study the 700-page book. Don't do that. Those 2 questions will not decide whether you clear the prelims or not. If you could not clear with other 98 questions, with those 2 questions also you will not clear. Right? So have that kind of a filtered approach. Understood? Right. So, yes.
For current affairs. So if I'm appearing for 2026, should I start my current affairs preparation from now?
Now itself. Because there is no boundary that, okay, from 12 months only we will ask. I just told him, Miyawaki method was in use since 2019, was asked in 2023. So should I study 4 years now? No. The more you study current affairs, the more perspective that you gain of what is happening in the world. That is why you study current affairs. What comes out of it is a natural benefit, right? So even the monthly magazine, you have started preparation from today, start the monthly magazines from today. If possible, from the previous month itself. Okay?
So what is the role of editorials?
Don't think about it. For example, that today I am reading this editorial, I will be able to replicate it in the mains examination of 2026 exact editorial. Every day, 3 editorial articles you are reading on an average. Think about it. You have read more than 1,000 articles. How much will you retain? So that should never be the approach. When you are reading an editorial, try to understand what is the larger picture here that is being indicated always.
Sorry to interrupt you, for I have an important announcement to make. To all the civil services aspirants who are planning to appear in 26 or 27, this is the ideal time to embark on a focused preparation. To ensure that your IAS dream isn't interrupted by mind-boggling fee charged by coaching institutes, we at Unacademy are offering our UPSC preparation subscription at a 55% discount. Now at 23,999, you can subscribe to our course for 12 months and give wings to your IAS preparation. Our Ignite batch for CSE 2026 starts with my Indian Polity course on the 27th of January. This is our most comprehensive program for both prelims and mains preparation, covering GS and CSAT both. For more details, visit our website and use IAS English code to unlock this discount. All the best, and let's crack it.
Regarding to this UCAN session, if I'm following UCAN, there is no need to follow any other current affairs. No, only monthly magazine.
Yes.
Plus UCAN. Can I crack this state level exam of the
100%. But again, for state exam, what sort of current affairs is asked? I don't know. Do they ask who is the current Chief Minister of Rajasthan?
Yes, sir, definitely they will ask. I've seen. They ask for Kerala.
But we will never discuss that. We'll discuss from the UPSC perspective.
So I'm doing polity only now, your classes. One started in December. So I'm working professional. I was in my hometown past before 2 months. And then they called office. So there has been a passel of my life. I'm from Ranchi, Jharkhand side. So Bangalore is very new to me, this area. So my class, earlier I started your online with your life, but it got break. Now I'm I guess 20, 25 classes back.
Oh.
So I wanted like strategy kind of like I am not able to cope up. Like I have completed my optional JAWS public administration. I've completed paper 1 and 2. But not that much revision has been taken. Now, I'm not like you say me to write a short note on any particular topic, like how Sir was telling you should be able to write. I'm not that confident. So a revision is a must have understood, but incorporating now in my paper will be a difficult thing. So I think I'll need a big chunk of time for that. And then I've completed economics, I've completed geography. Polity and history is left. So now polity is going on. But now office has started, like 2 days in a week I go.
Just 2 days.
Just listen. That workload has suddenly been like till 7 o'clock I am occupied only. Most of 6:30 is my office hour, ends at 6:30. But most of the days I have noticed nowadays 7 o'clock. 2 days and also I can do medical leave, I can say them.
You start at
9:30 morning.
till 7.
Till
So-
6:30.
Till 7.
Okay, yeah.
And break,
Huh.
dinner,
Yeah,
by 9.
okay.
10 to 1.
10 to 1. I do that. My plan has always been like 7:30 is set on my study table. And try between looking small breaks.
Yes.
But I try to 1:30. But every day that is not happening.
Make it a routine. It is. Can you stop breathing? You can't. You have internalized it. It's involuntary. Similarly, your preparation also has to be on an autopilot. Make it part of your routine. I have to do it. Process this. This should be in your mind. That I don't have any other option.
The guilty complete is there.
Not guilty. You have to allow this process. Enjoy this process. Enjoy these subjects that you are studying. And so that you can get up early in the morning and say, wow, today I have to study this. That should be your approach. If you make it boring, if you make it like a torture, I'm sorry, you won't do that. Enjoy the process. Get up early in the morning. Read.
Or if I sleep by 3,
If you sleep by 2, get up at 8.
okay, 1 hour I have, 1.5 hour I have.
Just 1 hour. Give bath. While having breakfast, you're revising what you studied yesterday.
Yeah, that I can do.
So that is why I said, when you say, I don't have time, it's an alibi.
Time I have, that discipline I don't have.
That's something that you'll have to learn. Nurture it.
And every day some of the other problems I get. Today I'm not well. Today I've come here, food issue happens, this thing. Every couple of days I do have some problem. That I'm not able to cope up with. Like earlier at home, it was good. Everything was good only. The 2 subjects also I completed how I plan. But now my planning has dismantled. And now time is not there. CSAT also have to do. So I'll find a shortcut. Shortcut is on there. I'm not looking for shortcut, but
And it will be ask UPSC if remove geography and history. Let's focus on quality economics. That also happens. Whatever you have, you'll have to compete it. Whatever time you have, you'll have to manage it accordingly. Maximum what you can do is you can process your mind. Say, I love learning these subjects. I'm looking forward eagerly every day to study these subjects. That's within your power. Find that. Find that passion in studying. These are beautiful subjects.
yeah, I'm enjoying the process. Like if I go for shopping, back of the mind I feel no, I should be and study. I like it. I'm not enjoying shopping.
No.
It has become like that.
No. Don't even do that. See, this is where I can correct myself as well. There was a time when I would advise students, forget about everything, your social life, your personal life. Then it go to hand focus.
Wasted much in social life. I tried.
You will earn time because you will end up rejuvenating your mind when you are away from for some time. Listen to music, watch a movie without feeling regret. Tomorrow you will see a new energy will pop up. Because this is a grueling exercise to prepare for this exam. It's a long, arduous journey. So give it a revitalizing sense every now and then. Music, go out for shopping. While going for shopping, maybe you can revise in your mind.
So, sir, 2 things. One is Suppose we're leaving out 30 questions in the prelims because it is factual. The remaining is 70. The problem is the 70-30 can anyway turn aside, right? So this one session, maybe this 70 is okay, conceptual, the 30 is factual. What if the 70 is factual? Now, 30 is conceptual, then you're losing out on a lot of points anyway. Secondly, so when the PYQ analysis has been done, what I have felt like, we have the Paige's last 10 years book, like 2022 till it is said. Now, everything on the sky is in the question. Right? So, how do you again filter that out? Because in polity also, let's say, we were concupiscence to clemency powers last night. So now clemency powers has a lot of dimensions. Articles आ गए, but case study आ गया, फिर governor का procedure आ गया. Now in mains there is okay, maybe our opinion, or why should this happen or should that not happen. In prelims there is a different strategy. So how is the two strategies different?
When Sir said 70 to 30, it was not a strict number that you'll have to focus on 70 and not on 30, and 30 will be static. The point here is there will be some questions which will be so difficult that nobody is going to answer. And such questions can be in the range of 20 to 25, sometimes 30, but sometimes 50. Just by chasing such questions, should your entire preparation strategy change? That now you will only focus on these set of questions? No. That's the whole crux of what Sir was trying to say. Focus on those questions. Now, fact can also be India is a republic. It's a fact. But this is not something that will take a lot of effort from your side to understand, because you know it.
Because, of course.
Right? So there are some things which are conceptual as well, yet factual as well. Those are okay. But there's a purely factual statements. For example, office of profit has been amended 5 times. Is the statement correct or incorrect? Now, how would I remember? So do you want to chase such things, and by that logic now study how many laws were amended for how many times? No, leave it. It was asked once, may never be asked again.
Yeah.
Even if such a question is asked, the return of investment is so poor that you will end up spending your entire time in just understanding which are these laws which were amended how many times.
Yeah.
Or which was the following, which is the directive principle which was added by the 42nd amendment.
Okay.
Right. So by that logic, do we have to remember all those constitutional amendments which added one directive principle or the other? Maybe no.
So that would be a huge thing to...
Exactly. That is why leave them.
Yeah.
Focus on the remaining ones and look at the remaining questions. The remaining questions are: what happens to a bill if Lok Sabha is dissolved?
It will, if it is a money bill, I think it dissolves.
If the bill has originated in Rajya Sabha and is pending in Rajya Sabha, the bill will not lapse.
No, it will not lapse because Lok Sabha mein to koi kaam hi nahi hua par.
Exactly.
It is automatically taken to be passed.
No, not passed. It is remaining there. It will remain there.
So Lok Sabha is dissolved, right?
Lok Sabha is dissolved. So when new Lok Sabha is convened,
they'll take
this Rajya Sabha will send this bill to the new Lok Sabha, and Lok Sabha will have to then decide whether to pass or not pass. A bill cannot be passed by just one house. That's concept. I need time to revise it.
But time is gone then. No?
Where is time?
See, in January right now it's 18th. So January to khatam. Now, even if I don't focus on prelims right now, maybe it is just answer writing. There is concept revision, then there is answer writing, then there is prelims, and there is test series. How to manage time in there?
Just focus on test series. So in test series, there is the syllabus provided to you.
Yes.
That for this upcoming test, these are the topics where we will test you. Just revise those portions. Your syllabus is also over, your mocks are also.
So that is only for prelims now.
Right now, just focus on prelims, because unless and until we get past prelims, what is the point? Maybe once you crack, you will definitely crack prelims, and then we will look at what are the areas of mains where you have to put extra effort. Solve as many mocks as possible, write as many answers as possible, focus on optional.
For example, sir, like I do suffer in terms of geography. Like static, I haven't studied it, but I have tried to study NCRTs. Polity, I have easily covered, and I can remember, sir. I've seen your analysis, sir, also. Like there is an analysis of Unacademy, sir, and I can get my idea. Like if you're talking about the governance, like the conflict between the government of the state and the governors. So I do get some idea. Like if I have to write the answer, I can be neutral. I will be impartial. So that gives me some energy, sir. Like I can be like how is the requirement of this examination. At the same time, I feel sometimes like energy is not that much how it requires. Being from different background, like I do heard about like a lot of, for example, sir, in our Jammu and Kashmir also, sir, there are few guys who have qualified this examination, and when I see all those guys, they have some impressive background. For example, sir, Amir Khan, like he qualified in 2019, so his background was GMLB. Yes, sir, right. So that is when I listen to all those guys, so that feels sometimes like sir, energy is like little bit low as compared to requirement. So
Twist feel देखिए
absolutely so. So you're gonna focus about it, sir.
It is not a disqualification.
Actually, I know, sir, but it is very difficult.
It's with the same mindset that there are people with not so good background, they give up. They don't appear. And no, this is too difficult for me. I can't do that. This is not meant for me. Why? This is a democratic exam. If, no matter what if you are giving an MBA, you're doing an MBA, right? If you had cracked CAT and you would get a call from IAI, they would check your background. Even if you have scored 99, but your background is not good, they won't call you for the interview, right?
Awesome.
But if this is UPSC exam where your background doesn't matter, कुछ भी background है, faith, third division, distinction, position, medical, engineering, arts, humanities, doesn't matter.
So, like, sir, I was in 12th examination. My subject was non-medical. Then I was able to score impressive, not that much impressive how it was required. I secured sir, almost a 78% time. So cutoff was 79% sir, approximately. And sir, cutoff was 86% time. So, but I wasn't like, sir, that was a situation once upon a time because we're agricultural people, so we do had a lot of stuff to do. Like I wasn't able to devote my whole time. So that is sometimes impediment.
No, that's not an impediment. That's the impediment in your mind, which is far removed from the reality. And the reality is, this is a democratic exam because when does UPSC know who you are? At the time of the interview. इसी प्रीलिम्स के टाइप पता है कि आपका बैकग्राउंड क्या है? नहीं पता है नो तो करो प्रीलिम्स के लिए. मेंस के टाइप पता है कि क्या है बैकग्राउंड? नो तो कर लो means के लिए.
So that is a motivation. I always inspire myself. Let us appear for the truth.
जब इंटरव्यू होगा तब देखा जाएगा. और ऐसे क्वेश्चंस का आंसर दे दो कि उनको लगे कि नो यू आर वर्थ इट. उनको नॉलेज नहीं देखनी है, वो प्रॉपर कैरेक्टर देखना है. एंड इफ यू कैन डिस्प्ले दैट पैशन,
Yes, sir.
humanism, empathy, honesty,
Yes, sir.
you're in.
So that is what is required for the exam.
That's it. पहले सिलेबस कंप्लीट करो, बाद में ये सब सोचो कि क्या होगा.
That's what it is. I think I should be capable like this.
टेक इट स्टेप बाय स्टेप. पहले आज पॉलिटी खत्म करो, कल इकोनॉमी खत्म करो, प्रीलिम्स लिखो, फिर मेंस लिखो. बाद में इन बारों में सोचो.
At the same time, sir, I do have one more question. That's very important. I was trying to say during this classroom. So it is about sir, how to be impartial. Like, sir, I read about a lot of political parties. Sometimes I try to put my point of view, like how our standing is. Understanding is like
You don't have to do that.
we become sir because of like these when these chapters appear in front of. So that is very tough to manage.
That is why you would have to take a step back and understand it from both perspectives. Let's say Places of Worship Act. Is it good or is it bad?
Yes, sir, that I was recently appeared in answer. So if I do have to write an answer about it, so I might write about it like we don't need it because there might be some communal violence.
No. You won't be asked. UPSC is also not childish to ask you what is your take on Places of Worship Act. Let's say Uniform Civil Code is also contentious. Uniform Civil Code has not been implemented. What are the factors that impede the implementation of Uniform Civil Code? This is the question which was asked in May's exam. What is your answer? Uniform Civil Code, guaranteed by Article 44 of the Constitution, is a directive principle of state policies which makes it non enforceable in a court of law.
It depends upon government.
It depends upon the government. It is a duty on the government to implement this. It has not been implemented because of a potential clash with Article 25 of the Constitution, with Article 29 of the Constitution, with the personal laws related to various communities. It has also not been implemented because of the perceived vote bank politics. Absolutely. That's also reality. Law Commission of India has recommended that Uniform Civil Code is worth discussing but not worth implementing.
Hello, civil services aspirants. I'm Sarmad Mehraj. I'm coming to Hyderabad with Mukesh Jasar and Hima Bindu ma'am on the 25th of January. We are hosting our biggest offline workshop in your city. Our aim is simple. The moment you leave the venue, you should be absolutely clear as to what it takes to crack the IAS in your first attempt. Please make note of the venue and timings on your screen. Since the seats are limited, please fill the form provided in the comment section and book your slot. See you on the 25th of January, and together, let's crack it.
So I'm just starting my preparation. Like I haven't done anything. I've just seen the syllabus and I'm starting out. What do you want to tell?
Start.
Really know to start. Like what to do, where possibly I could go wrong.
Which is the subject you're most comfortable? Start with that subject. Now see, you have to reach from this place to this place. Is there only one way to reach here? There can be multiple ways. So there are multiple strategies that you can follow to reach your destination. Whether you study one subject per day or multiple subjects per day, your call. The idea should be to reach here by completing the syllabus. Break the syllabus into various parts, conquer them one by one, revise with your current affairs. That's it.
So that I understood. Even I saw some strategy videos that I'll start with the big four first. But when it comes to actually reading it, if we take big four only, history has many parts, like modern history.
Start with modern history. Because you may be familiar with these names. Gandhi, Nehru, Patel, Subhash Chandra Bose. If you start with ancient India, maybe Bimbisara, others, you will never have heard about them. Maybe. So start with modern history.
So I was talking about return on investment. Like, how do I allocate time to a subject? If I say modern history, how much time do I give? So I have a broad plan.
110 hours for modern history.
Yeah.
110 hours for polity. 110 hours for economy. 110 hours for geography. And then for the rest, for ethics, you can take 50 hours. For ancient India, you can take 20, 30 hours. Like that.
How to stay consistent, sir? Like, we make a plan.
It's a mental thing rather than a strategic thing. If there was some strategy in it, I will tell you right now. It is all about your mind. That is where your motivation, that's why I asked you what motivates you to write this exam, prepare for this. That's where it comes. If you're motivated, you will enjoy this process. It won't feel like it's a burden on you, that you have to study so much every single day. It feels like torture. Don't feel that. If you have motivation, which is clear, that I want to serve the society, I want to make my parents proud, I want power, prestige, status in the society, whatever your motivation is. But keep that motivation as the basis.
Like for the subject, how do I go about that subject? Just to read the standard textbook? When do I start making notes? After first reading or?
After first reading. Because when you're reading the book for the first time, it is as good as you had never read this book. So you will start understanding this book from the next reading onwards. This is when you should start making sense.
So how do I compare that FOMO that, okay, this question, if I read a book, then I see PYQ. Whatever I read, that PYQ is coming out of somewhere else. So I feel like I should read that book also.
Now, should you expect that whatever you have written, you have read or made notes of, from their question will be asked in the exam?
That's the hope, which
no. But whatever you have read, whatever you have studied, using that knowledge, you can answer any question that can be asked in the exam. That should be your approach. Otherwise, it's like rote learning. I will mug up 10 books. From these books, question will be asked, problem solved. That's why this is not an exam like that. That is why it's a different exam. So that is where your conceptual understanding will play a very important role.
How much revision should we do, like, for sir?
As much as possible. As much as possible would be minimum 5. But some would require 6. Some would require 10. Depends upon how much do you need.
If I've joined a coaching, that coaching will have a particular curriculum.
The only advantage of coaching is your syllabus would be covered in the shortest possible time period. That's it. Otherwise, you have to attend the classes. You have to ask doubts to the teachers. You have to write answers to the questions that we provide you. So you have to do the lot of hard work, not the teacher. But the only advantage is, instead of following 3 books, you just have to follow 1 book and class notes. That's it. Instead of reading books on your own, you can follow the class lecture, problem solved. The question that you're asking, how do I start? Which topic to start? How should I make notes? That will be answered by the teachers. So I will tell you, for quality, don't make notes. I will make you understand Indian polity, and in 110 hours we'll complete it. That's the only advantage of coaching. Otherwise, you can do it on your own.
Yes.
Sir, I started my preparation last year. After graduation, I wanted to give it a thought, and I wanted to do it in first attempt only. And first 2 months, it was like at the peak my preparation. From there, it is going slow down, bit slow, and also my mind it's a bit confused. Yeah, it's not even confused, sir. It's like everything that environment is like everybody's problems is. It's not something. It was like at starting was like around 12 hours. There is no time limit until I'll complete that topic. I was there, but now it was like.
What is your motivation to write this exam? Just find out, maybe that motivation is taking a hit. Maybe that motivation has slightly reduced. Bring back motivation back.
And also, I lost my own people. And that also everything is my own mother. In October, I got like everything's hurting me.
Some things where we don't have any control. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow, day after. And some things you should leave it to God. He is the best planner. He knows when to bring somebody to this planet, when to take somebody out. Those are things which are beyond our control. We may grieve, we may stress, but not forever. For you also, there will be a time where you will miss your mother, but then you will also make peace with it. That now it has happened, that it's not in my control. Can you do something to make her proud? Not UPSC. Anything that you do it with full passion and dedication.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir. I came from Assam to meet you, sir. Son, yes. Oh my God. Sir, I am following you since 2018. Sir, I have watched all your classes, sir.
Why are you not able to clear this exam then?
Sir, don't know, sir. That's why I came to meet you, sir. Sir, actually, because of some deep motivations also, I'm not able to give full time because of some work pressure also. At the same time, I'm not able to focus on, studies.
Why?
Don't know, sir.
What's the issue?
Sir, I think I will forget to focus on syllabus sometimes because of some family pressure. Because of, sir, then like financial problems like that, sir. They'll demotivate me. So that's why I'm not able to clear the examinations. And I have a few doubts, sir. Even after studying the all your notes and this also, I'm not able to write the answers because I have no proper idea regarding.
Have you ever written an answer?
Sir, I have tried once, but I heard it is very difficult. Then I stopped concentrating.
Do you know how to drive the car? No? When you start learning how to drive a car, initially you will face difficulty. So where is the accelerator? Where is the brake? Where is the clutch? Where is the gear? This is the indicator. This is the right turn. You will give up. I can't drive the car. But with practice, now you can ride a truck on the highway. So it all boils down to practice. You tried only once, and now you're saying, I don't know how to write an answer. Try it again. Practice it. You know what is the best way to write a best answer? Write bad answers. Write as many bad answers, because once you know that these are the mistakes I've committed, you will never repeat them again in answer writing. So write bad answers, get them evaluated so that you get to know what you should have written, what you should not have written. So the best way to write a great answer is to write as many bad answers as possible. So start practicing. If you're unable to write the answer, the only reason is you never tried. And as I said, it is an art which you need to learn. So start it. It will be difficult initially, but over a period of time, you will develop the habit. And that is what is required. Now, it is difficult. Does that mean I will not appear in the mains exam? I'll just pass the prelims and then take me to the interview and I will clear this exam. You have to go through the middle path, which is the mains exam. So there is no other alternative but to practice answer writing. Right answer. Send it to us. We will evaluate.
Sir, while reading current affairs, I feel it is very bulky. That's why I'm not covering all current affairs properly.
Monthly current affairs magazine. Just follow that. Ideally, you should read your own newspaper. You should make your own notes. But if that is not possible for any reason, the monthly current affairs magazine, at least follow that.
That much is enough, sir.
Enough. I can't say it is enough, but at least you will get something.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Because I was not able to focus consistently on my studies, sir. That's why. Just to motivate from yours.
No, it is what motivates you to write this exam, prepare for this exam. Keep that in mind. Be consistent. So there will be sometimes days where you're not studying. Then this cycle of studying breaks. And to start it again, it becomes very difficult. That is why consistently, even if it is half an hour or 1 hour, daily study something related to your UPSC preparation. Daily do that. Half an hour, 1 hour, even if there is turmoil in your family, still study for 1 hour. Because the moment it breaks, this continuity breaks, it becomes difficult to regroup. Don't let that happen. And you seem very passionate person.
Yes, sir. I started my preparation in 2018. First time when I saw you, and I fell in love with politics subject. So since then, I began my preparation, sir. But I don't know why I was not able to understand myself. Why I'm not able to clear the examination. I give four attempts as a.
Any category?
Sir, yes, category, sir.
What's your age?
Sir, 26.
You have a lot of time, my dear. But start. Find out about what happened previously. Or shoot, today is your day 1 of your preparation. Go home, start today. Pick one subject, any subject that you like. Read one chapter on a daily basis. Be consistent. Then slowly enhance the targets.
Good evening. I'm Mahesh, sir. Yes, please. I'm from Asan. You're also from Asan? Yes, sir. I follow before 3.5 years. I following by using. Oh, can keep following. But I'm to attempt in this my third attempt 25. But I could not clear the prelims even 2 attempts. But I'm lacking the consistency and practice in answer writing practice not sufficiently practice in the answer writing. But I'm preparing and attempt these 24 prelims and before I'm not reading anything, and just January I've taken Unacademy plus subscription and started new preparations for even so, but I'm facing the lack of consistency.
You're I told them as well. 1 hour daily. Be consistent, because once it's like, hey, you don't go to the gym, right? Do you go to the gym? You don't. So when or do you run?
Do you run? What do you do?
Sir, daily exercise and
So meditation. So today, if you do it for 15 minutes, gradually it will increase. So if you're running for 15 minutes, then it goes up to 30 minutes, then 45 minutes, then you run marathon. Right? In the similar fashion, your target should be to study 6 to 7 hours on a daily basis. But on day one, you can't do that. Assume that you are starting today, 1 hour daily. After a week, increase it to 1.5 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, read 7 hours. That is how you build consistency.
Analyzing the maps and rivers, how to remember the rivers names. You know the hash.
You don't have to remember that. There will be hardly a question that will be asked on this topic. You can skip it. Or every month, Mukesh sir comes up with precision news. Follow that. That should be more than.
I am following the Hindu analysis, but I am not making the notes.
Don't make notes. Monthly magazine will come out.
But I am not understanding the editorials. Then how to?
Why are you not understanding?
There is so many topics are included. I am not understanding that topics.
Even by attending the analysis, you're not able to understand.
So after analysis, I will understand.
Then watch the analysis, understand.
Without newspaper, only analysis also.
When you are facing some issues, health issues, first we realize, okay, we will get good on our own. We don't have to go to the doctor. If you turn good, problem solved. If your condition is not improving, you go to the doctor. So if you're not understanding editorials on your own, you watch the video. If that is solving the problem, very good. What's the issue? Okay. Tell me.
The way, the bass, the voice, I like your voice a lot. And the way you define terms and you will initialize those terms and you'll explain and I learned the technologies, basic. Currently, I'm working to build that basics. That's what I am doing, sir. And really, your videos were very, very helpful to me. And yeah, I would like to know what would be the best strategy or approach to what
syllabus is to be conquered. For that, divide the syllabus. When you have to conquer something, you divide it.
Yeah.
Divide it into timelines. That daily I will complete this topic. Same way, complete all the topics. Syllabus is over. Attempt the exam. So that's it. Simple.
Technically, I started the preparation last Friday. I took the last attempt. Okay. So that time I was not well prepared. Okay. I was just starting to learn things. So I just took the attempt because I thought max to max. Like you told earlier that you don't have to think for 4 or 5 attempts. I thought I will take attempt. Then I will start my preparation and everything. So CSAT, paper 2 was fine for me. Okay. Paper 1, little bit polity and everything, basic understanding I was having. So I was able to attend some questions because I was taking YouTube or other free material sources. So then I thought of starting preparing. So Unacademy I purchased in October or September or October. Okay. I took your sessions. Okay, everything I completed. My main concern was that of time, that you have already talked. Okay, if you are working professionally, you have to take your time in the early morning or at late at night. Your session is 6:30. I'm not able to wake up at 6 or 6:30. So I have to be sure. I watched your recorded lessons. Okay, and I completed that. Then the habit building was not happening. First of all, because every educator, yourself also have told you try to attend the class on the same day or I try to attend live, but live was not happening. I follow English and Hindi both. Like not going where you have all prepared. So I watch English and Hindi both. Like I'm following polity from you, geography from Gujar sir, CSAT from Kotwe sir. So everybody has. My main focus was of time, which you already have talked to so much persons. So any insights, sir, like how you need to manage things and
where do you
go? Accenture.
What is the office time?
Office timing is 9 to 7, 10 to 8 a.m. in stretch. Depends on work. If the work is more than
1 hour in the morning.
I can sir, if I am at night after 10, I am taking 10 to 1.
In the morning, 1 hour.
Okay.
In the evening, once you're back, 3 hours.
3 hours I'm making that.
Give this consistent 4 hours of quality time. And when we say quality, you don't have to fool yourself that I am on my study desk, I am reading, but your mind is somewhere else. You don't have to do that. Give 4 hours of quality time from Monday to Friday. Maximize your Saturday and Sunday. Do this consistently. Consistency is the key. Do this consistently for 1 year, you will clear AIDS.